Welcome to the Coin Bureau podcast, everyone. My name is Guy, and I am joined, as ever, by my faithful, long-serving and long-suffering friend...
Mad Mike Mooch.
And that was just the delay on that. I don't think was you forgetting your name, was it? It was just the fact that we are again recording remotely. Me from Dubai once more, and you, as I can tell from the video, from a prison cell.
I'm in London, old grey London, and you're in sunny Dubai.
Dubai. That's how you say it, is it?
That's how Terry Tibbs said it, and that's how.
Oh, is that?
Say, go to Dubai.
Dubai.
So, yeah.
Well,
Dubai.
Terry Tibbs knew what he was talking about.
You've had a busy week.
Yeah, so I have had a busy week. Yeah, I have. I had a busy weekend actually. I went to an event, a Binance event at the Burj. Well, sort of looking onto the Burj. And it was to celebrate Binance launching a regulated exchange in Dubai. And it was pretty cool. There was a big old light show. There was a swanky sort of meet and greet with lots of important people there, and some unimportant people there as well, like myself. And it was great. Met lots of interesting people, and highlight of the evening, I got to not only meet but also chat with CZ, the CEO of Binance, or I think CZ, as he's referred to in the UK. None of this Z pronunciation. Obviously CZ is Binance CEO, one of the most well-known, recognizable, and let's not mince words, richest people in crypto.
Cha-ching.
And then some. And I have to say, he was lovely. He was a very nice chap, very unassuming, very modest, very down to earth. You know, there was no kind of a big dick billionaire energy sort of coming off him. He just seemed like a guy on a mission who was very much enjoying himself, I think.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool, and I sort of chatted with him a bit about Dubai and about Binance, obviously, and I also got to ask him a bit about what it was like being him, because this is something that's always, I've always wondered, because I often think like being the CEO of a crypto exchange must be one of the most, like, on the one hand, rewarding jobs in kind of every sense of the word, and on the other hand, stressful jobs of all time, because there's just constantly stuff happening. You're having to deal with stuff, and it's one of these things, isn't it? Like the bigger the organization gets, the more
eyes,
the more stress.
Scrutiny.
Yeah, and just the more things to deal with, the more people wanting stuff. And it's but I mean, again, CZ seemed very sort of calm. He didn't seem like someone who was, sort of meeting dozens and dozens of people a day and having to keep so many plates spinning or balls in the air or whatever metaphor you want to use. And yeah, it was great, and he had some interesting insights. He said he basically now practices sort of 5-minute meetings, which I thought was pretty good. None of this sort of preamble. It's just get it done, 5 minutes, right, out the door, off we go, next thing. And he did reassure me that he manages to chill as well. Get some sort of time off.
He's a
billionaire.
As I say, of course he manages to chill.
Well, yeah, you say that, but I mean, again, I think
he doesn't have to come home and do the laundry. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to come home and go, what am I going to cook? My cook will do that. I'm a billionaire. And he's reduced all his meetings down to 5 minutes. So it's kind of like, I'm assuming that's in his personal life as well. So it's like, speaks to his wife, you've got 5 minutes. Done.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Just cuts her off, right? That's it.
Yeah,
nothing more. Thank you. Well, you're right, but I mean, I often think like the richer someone gets, the more demands there are on their time. Surely, and for a billionaire,
I'm being silly, obviously, but
sure. But no, I think I think you're right though, because at some point you go, hang on a sec, I'm a billionaire. I don't have to do. I'm
No.
going to the beach, or I'm taking the private
buying
jet
a
to
beach.
Monaco, or I'm going to buy a beach. Yeah. I'm gonna go and build a space rocket for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. How does he fritter his money? Because how people spend their disposable income and waste it to a degree is always an indication of the type of human being that they are. Do you know what I mean? And I want to know, what does he do with, like, how does he enjoy spending money, or how does he what is his outlet for it? Is he got does he like to gamble? Is he does he collect handbags? Is he a Warhammer enthusiast? I want to know these things.
That would have been a really
questions.
good. I didn't ask those questions. I didn't feel it was the time or the place to ask him if he was a gambler or a collector of handbags. But do you know what, Mikey? You're right. Like,
what are your ultramarine collections like in Warhammer 3000 or whatever?
Well, do you know what? Like, the worry in that sort of situation is that you ask someone a question like that, kind of tongue in cheek, and it then turns out they're a massive Warhammer fan or something, and you get stuck in a discussion about Warhammer. And I mean, I know nothing about Warhammer, but yeah, can you imagine that? He suddenly sort of, oh yeah, no, Warhammer is great. I've got loads of.
You don't do the accent.
Goblin King.
Don't.
Oh, Warhammer, yeah, I love it. Yeah. I collect all this, I collect all that. And it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry I asked now. But do you know what, Mikey? Next time I get the opportunity to speak to someone like that, to speak to someone at that kind of level of wealth, which I hope I will, I will try and ask that question in a slightly more nuanced way. How do you fritter money away?
Or what you could do is just put them on the spot and just say, hey, look, I need $1 million. I've got a very, very sick puppy, and he needs an operation that's going to cost $1 million. Can I borrow that off you? And in front of everyone, he's going to have be like, yeah, cool, or no. Just make.
Yeah.
This is why people don't ask me to interview them. I think this is why you get interviews with CZ, and I'm interviewing you.
You've just got the scraps from CZ's table.
Yeah.
I didn't get to interview CZ, but I did get to speak to Guy, who has spoken to CZ, so I can get it all secondhand. No. Well, perhaps you're just too direct for your own good, Mikey. You need that nuance. You need to be able to. Yeah.
They can't handle the scrutiny of my interviews. I ask the tough questions.
You're the sort of Jeremy Paxman of the space, the Grand Inquisitor. Anyhow, I was very conscious at the end of last week's episode, Mikey, that I'd kind of bummed you out a little bit with all my sort of talk about post-merge problems for Ethereum and the crypto market in general, and just the world in general. I felt by the end that I'd managed to bleed a lot of the enthusiasm out of you.
Well, I'd forgotten about it until you just brought it up right now. So thanks again for bringing that darkness back into my psyche.
Look, I'm relying on your goldfish-like attention span. And, you'll have forgotten in about 5 minutes' time.
What was that? Everything's fine again. My acute ADHD. What are you going to cheer me up with this week? What have we got? What are we talking about?
Well, I thought we'd take a little bit of a different direction this week. There is as I've said many times before, and as I'm sure you're aware as well, crypto Twitter is the big sort of meeting spot, town square or whatever they call it, for the crypto industry. And it's kind of central to, I guess, the agenda of the crypto industry in a way. If you want to have an idea of what's going on in crypto, you need to be on crypto Twitter. Yeah. Okay. Now the problem is there's a few problems with this, basically. One, crypto Twitter is like a lot of other places at Twitter. It's it can be an absolute cesspool sometimes. People going out of their way to be their very worst selves. So there is that. So there is, that kind of downside to it. Although, it has to be said, there are lots of very cool and, very smart and very opinionated people there. But sometimes it does descend into a bit of a, it all gets a bit undignified.
Match. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, Twitter itself, the app. I don't know if you find this in comedy Twitter or whatever other sort of incarnations of Twitter that you're on. But the app itself is so full of bots and spam at the moment that it can be almost unusable at times. I think this may be a problem that's particularly acute to crypto. But I mean, how do you find using Twitter these days?
Well, no one engages with me. It's just like shouting into an empty room, really.
Right.
But I think you're on accounts such as yours, where there are people who are looking to it all the time for updates and news and stuff like that. You are going to be targeted by the bots, which are definitely only 5%. And of Twitter, and definitely not more than that. Then you're gonna get stuff like that all the time. And I suppose it's a testament to your success, really. If you don't have a load of bots after you, no one gives a crap about what you say.
That is the price of success. You can either be ignored, or you can just be botted and spammed into oblivion. There is no middle ground. Yeah.
No.
No, it's you're right in a lot of ways there, and obviously it's anyone with a sort of largest following on Twitter, I think, probably experiences this in one way or another. But yeah, crypto Twitter, I think, can be particularly bad from a sort of botting and spamming point of view, obviously because of the associations that the crypto industry has. And is that you gone? Have you just left?
Sorry,
you're back.
My window was open and rain was getting in.
Oh, right. Oh, it's raining there, is it?
It's just started, yeah. My prison
Yeah.
window light. My prison skylight.
One of these old Victorian prisons where you can't close the windows. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's Britain for you. I was going to talk about the pound as well, but I think we'd just better not go there, had we? It's just we don't want to start depressing ourselves again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyhow, crypto Twitter. Now, I follow obviously a lot of people on crypto Twitter, a lot of different accounts. But one of my absolute favourites, and one that I think one of the few that I religiously look at every day, is one called Coinfessions. And it is, according to its own bio, anonymous crypto confessions, and it's curated by another account called Illustrate Alpha, which is kind of a trading, more of a kind of trading focused account. So for anyone interested, @Coinfessions is the handle of this particular channel. Now, it does very much what it says on the tin, anonymous crypto confessions. So this is a place where people go and they confess. They talk about things that they talk about their experiences in crypto that they wouldn't normally, they wouldn't share with the wider world. And obviously, as I say, they're anonymous as well. You might be, I don't know, you might be familiar. I think there's a sort of more mainstream one on Twitter called Fesshole. Yeah.
Yes. There's a few like that. There's Fesshole. There's loads of these on the internet, and some of them are hilarious. I always wonder about the validity and the origin of these. Is it one guy making these up? Some of them are so detailed and it's so niched that you kind of think, oh, maybe they are real.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because like I say, I check this account every day, and obviously it pops up in my feed all the time. But you do sometimes think, God, can that really be true, or is that someone sort of just kind of saying what they think and all this sort of stuff? But it's people. It's certainly moderated. Coinfessions. I think probably things like Fesshole and stuff are as well. But yeah, I think the moderators of Coinfessions seem to have, I think, a pretty good eye for for the fake stuff as well. But that said, I think we have to treat everything that we see on it with a pinch of salt, if not more. But do you know what? It's something that the reason that I like it, there are kind of a few reasons why I like it. I mean, sometimes it's just outright funny. I have to be honest with you. Sometimes it's just outright bleak as well. Some of them are really, a bit distressing. But I find it a really kind of helpful dose of reality sometimes. Because I think I'm like most people in that when you get stuck on Twitter and you just find that time has evaporated and you've been on there an hour or something and you only went on to check and you suddenly just immersed yourself far too much in this world, and I find Coinfessions can sort of help drag you out of it sometimes, and especially when it's perhaps most
it is your Narcan to the Twitter fentanyl world.
Yeah, exactly. So I do find it a good sort of dose of reality. It's particularly good when when markets are pumping, when everyone's when there's too much kind of irrational exuberance around, and everyone's kind of losing their mind a little bit. The Coinfessions is good for kind of dragging you back to earth. But anyhow, like I've been kind of I was scrolling through it because I thought we could touch on some today, and I thought actually some of these are. I think there's a lot that we can learn from them. I think there's a few lessons that we can take from some of these, and as well as sort of a bit of comic relief in places. I think yeah, we can definitely take some good L's from some of these. So I thought we'd just go through a few, and see what we can learn. What do you reckon?
Well, let's do it. Okay. I like stories, and these are all little mini 280 captions. Or what's it? 280
characters.
Miniature stories.
The way they do it with a sort of obviously the tweet itself is limited in characters, so the tweet will generally be a little a summation.
Is this longer than 280? I'm out.
Yeah, but they post them in a picture box, kind of written out in a picture box. So, but yeah, the accompanying tweet is usually sort of a very pithy, a very pithy roundup of the tweet itself. Anyhow, I just sort of went back in time, starting with some of the most recent, and then back to a few from earlier this year. And I thought we'd just go through and see what we can learn from them. So this is from one day ago. My buddy had his entire wallet and NFT collection stolen via a fraudulent minting contract. He was super downbeat as it was a lot of money and watched as the scammer began listing his NFTs on marketplaces. Then a creator of one of the NFT projects he'd bought into purchased a bunch of the lost NFTs and returned them to my friend, throwing in an additional free one for good measure. It makes me feel so much better about this space, knowing that there are good people building and trying to do the right things.
That's a lovely story, man.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice. There's a lot to take from that, though. I think there's a lot contained in that. And I think, firstly, yeah, it's absolutely right. There are, I think there are the majority of people in crypto are good intentioned. They're there for the right reasons, and they want to make the world a better place. And people building these NFT projects or these other crypto projects, coins or tokens or whatever it is, I think the majority of them are doing it to do good. And unfortunately, the fact that there are bad actors out there obviously tends to hog the headlines. So for me, it was really nice to be reminded that there are good people out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the real world, really, isn't it? It's just the real world. It's just a section cross section of the real world. And yeah, I'd like to know who that guy was, who that NFT artist was, because I'd like to go and support them. Things like that are lovely, and it's kind of like you get sort of Facebook pages like that, the Dodo and stuff, when they do nice things, and you end up just crying into your smartphone, thinking about how lovely some people are. It's like when you see those deaf kids, and then they get a hearing aid for the first time, and then they can start hearing. And you see their eyes just light up, and it's amazing. It's lovely.
Oh, lovely, lovely. No, it is nice to be, I think, because you look at the news so much and you just see, I don't know, the news at the moment, the news all the time just seems to be people being dicks to each other in various inventive ways. And it is nice to be reminded that there are good people in the world, isn't it? Not everyone is bad intentioned. It's just, just the people in the news are.
Yeah.
And I think it does have some pertinent stuff to say, to remind us about just, unfortunately, how many scams there are out there, and these scams are getting more and more sophisticated, and even kind of experienced crypto users are, and sometimes even developers are getting almost caught out. I saw a really scary Twitter thread a couple of weeks ago from a developer on a crypto project, and they were basically targeted by scammers, and they laid out in this thread the scammers' whole MO, and it was so sophisticated and so realistic. And this guy, as he was going along, he just kind of spotted a couple of things that weren't quite right. I think there was a spelling mistake in there somewhere, and there was something about the tone of one of these people. That said, it was a really, really sophisticated attack. And this guy said, I only escaped it by the skin of my teeth. It was just because this couple of little errors went off and something didn't feel right. Yeah, it's good to be reminded. Firstly, that there are good people in the space who want other people to have a good experience and who want to push back against these scammers. And also, it serves as a good reminder that scammers are unfortunately so prevalent at the moment, and the only way that we can battle against them is by being wise to what they're doing, and also the good people sticking together as well. So I thought that was a nice one to start off with, a fairly recent one. Let's go on. And now we'll see a few through lines, I think, through some of these tweets as we go along, because this one from a couple of days ago, or from a couple of days from when we're recording this. So this one also involves NFTs. Last year, I made around $100,000 just by copying a well-known influencer's NFT pics. Bought my parents a new car, gave money to my brother, helped friends make money the same way, bought brand new stuff for myself, and made 3 NFT projects, which I've dumped around $20,000 into. All of them failed miserably. I have 1 ETH left in my MetaMask.
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot to be learnt from failure. There's a lot to be learnt from. Look, he's still up. He made $100,000, and then he, bought lovely things for himself and his family, and gave his brother some money, and his parents still have that car, and he's gambled again or invested and taken another risk on some projects, and he's not lost anything. He's up still. But he's also got the experience of okay, cool. Well, I've got burnt with some projects that have failed miserably, but I'm sure you've learnt some lessons from, or I hope you'd learnt some lessons from investing 20,000 into those NFT projects, and maybe that we're in a slump at the moment. Maybe if you hold on to them and I don't know what those projects are. When the markets pick up and if the idea was good, then it may become good in the end. You never know.
Yeah,
be positive about it.
He's
gain some insights from your mistakes, and then therefore don't make those mistakes again. And it's not a mistake; it's a lesson.
Yeah. Absolutely, and everyone makes mistakes, but it's the people who make the same mistakes over and over are the ones they're the idiots out there. I think this guy or whoever it is has done pretty well. They're definitely still up, and I think really for them it's perhaps a a question of learning to quit whilst they're ahead, which I think is something that many people in crypto and elsewhere really struggle with, I think. Because going through a lot of these, looking at a lot of these tweets, it's always staggering. Some people, it's like, I was up this much, or, I got to this much, and they just never, so many people never get off the ride, never take profits, never quit while they're ahead. So I think that's a good lesson to learn from that sort of tweet. When you're up, you're up. Don't be you. As the saying goes, no one ever went broke taking profits.
True.
So, and I think as well, like that there is that sense, I think beware the sense of, oh, that was pretty easy, I'll give it a go. It's like, I think you sometimes need to know your limitations as well, and to be like, okay, I got lucky on this. This well-known influencer whose NFT picks they followed. It's like, okay, we've got to admit to ourselves that there was luck involved here, perhaps as much as anything else. Let's fool ourselves that we can somehow necessarily recreate that. Again, quit while we're ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but it's easier said than done. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've got that sort of adrenaline rush, you're kind of like, oh, wicked! I am. You know what? I probably should have been a trader. You've made like you've got lucky. You go. I'm really good at this. I probably. You know what? If I just watch Wolf of Wall Street one more time and figure out what penny stocks are all about, I've got this.
Absolutely, and it's funny you say that, because that sort of leads on to the next tweet that I picked out. And again, this is something that comes up a lot on this channel. Quote: "I'm a terrible trader, just really, really bad." Look, folks, if you're listening to this, like this is probably one of the most important lessons you can learn in crypto. I think it's like, do not convince yourself that you are a good trader, because the chances are that you're not. It's and again, there are so many tweets across Coinfessions. It's like, I realised what a bad trader I am, or trading. I tried to trade X, Y, Z and ended up with diddly squat. And it reminds me of something that's often attributed to Socrates, along the lines of, true wisdom only comes when you admit how little you actually know. I think if you can come to that realization that you probably aren't the hotshot trader that you might think you are, your life will be immeasurably better. Because from what I've seen of trading, it is so damn hard, and the good traders out there, there aren't many of them, but they do exist. But the really good ones out there, they have to. It's their whole lives. I think they have to spend their whole lives watching.
It's kind of it's one of these things. Like, if you think, right, I'm going to be a trader. And you see someone on Instagram telling you how it's going to be amazing, you do this, and they're living the life, and they've got all the flashy cars, and they're out in the clubs and stuff like that. They're not a trader. Like, to be really good at something, you have to do a lot of work and a lot of practice to really understand it. And if you really don't understand what a candle is, and you think you're a good trader, you're not. And you have to live and breathe it. And you may be on your exchange app or checking the markets every 3-4 minutes, but that's also not a trader. Like, someone who is a trader they've got screens up, they're stressing about it, they're thinking about what else could be influencing the market, they're second guessing people's, like, the hive mind, and that it's impossible to do. Like, and even if you do all of that, and you're living and breathing it, something can come round out of nowhere and just completely nutmeg you, and you're done.
Yeah, Yeah, and of course, no one can predict the future. There is no amount of technical analysis or any other sort of macro analysis. You can read everything and look at as many models and charts as you like, but you won't see you won't spot the unexpected, the bolt from the blue, because no one does. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think one of the reasons why trading has become such a kind of popular thing, and this isn't just the case with crypto as well. There are people trading stocks and trading currencies and all this sort of stuff. Fiat currencies. I think the perception has been for a lot of people that trading is kind of an easy way to make money. It's like, you just buy when it's low, right? And then when it goes up, that's when you sell. And people think, I've
got it wrong. I was doing it the other way round.
Well, you see. Okay. Well, you're already on your way to becoming a better trader after that.
Now I know. Now I've got the knowledge.
Yeah. There's no stopping you now. But I think for a lot of people, like it kind of perceived as an easy way of making money, and it's really not. Like the good traders out there, they are they're switched on to it 24/7. It's relentless. It's not something that I could do. It's not something I would want to do, really. It's not nearly as fun as it sounds, I think, like that. And I think even the really good
to them, to the ones who live and breathe it, it probably is.
Yeah, that's true.
So and if that's what you enjoy, and you get the bug with it, and it's like wicked cool. If you're having fun while you're doing it, if it's all encompassing and it's kind of like what you wake up you want to do, as long as you're not ruining your life by losing everything you've got, and you're doing it within your means and making good trades and learning from bad ones, go for it. But it's not fun to a lot of people. Like looking at numbers, it's boring. I understand that, like if I understood it and I understood the game, maybe I'd be into it. But even getting to understand the game is too far out of my sort of attention span that I know, right, cool.
Yeah.
Just copy someone else.
Yeah, or do something that's not trading. Yeah. It's I think there's a good rule for life, isn't there? Is that I think at some point in our lives, we all come to the realization that we are crap at something, probably most things, let's face it. And I think, as we both hurtle towards 40 years old, I think that's only going to increase. You're only going to become aware of how crap you are at more and more things. And I think for me, I find that quite liberating in a way, because it doesn't mean that you can't necessarily enjoy something. You can still be crap at it and enjoy something, but I think having that realization that you are indeed crap at it, I think that's an important stage for anyone to go through. And I mean, it's something that I've been...
Self-awareness is a really, really important trait to develop, because if you are living your life thinking you're something you're not, it's just setting yourself up for failure, and people are aware. You may not be, but other people will be.
And eventually they'll tell you, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
yeah. Otherwise they'll just let you blunder on. I came to the realization, 2 or 3 years ago, that I was really not very good at poker at all. But I enjoy playing it, and I occasionally have a bit of luck. But I'm not good at the game. I don't have the skill for it. And I was thinking, I wish someone had told me that. And then, of course, I realised that I had been told that because people were always quite willing to play poker with me. And I was like, of course.
I'll play with you, Guy.
Yeah, we could play right now if you'd like, Guy.
People are telling you you're just not listening. You're not hearing the message. Yeah. It may not be telegraphed to you with, you are terrible at poker. But it's like, hey, should we play for something a little bit? Should we make this a little bit more interesting this week, Guy?
Should we up the ante?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. Anyhow, going back to the tweet, I'm a terrible trader. Just really, really bad. There is an instructive one for sure. And again, like there are so many Coinfessions entries like that. Just on the theme of how bad most people are at trading. So. Bear that in mind, folks. Once you come to that realization, your life will probably be better.
Let's get back into these tweets because I've had a little read of some of the next ones, and they're a bit more wild, to say the least. This one's from about a week ago. Really short, quite succinct. Took my dad's savings and blew his retirement on a shitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus,
I hope this one's not true, because one, how did you get your dad's savings? Because I'm pretty sure if he wasn't aware, that's a crime. And two, on a shitcoin, like this can't be real. I hope it's not real. If it's real, he's in real trouble. But yeah, all on one shitcoin. Come on.
I mean, this is what 10, 11 words or something, and there is so much in it because, took. So, I mean, does that mean did you steal them? Did your dad give you to them? My dad's savings, and then blew his retirement on a shitcoin. One shitcoin. So it didn't even diversify. It was just one shitcoin. Yeah, gosh, it's hard reading. I mean, again, I hope this is. I hope to God this is a fake one, but I mean, there are so many like this on Coinfessions that there must be. I think there is truth to a lot of them. Now, I think this tells us. This kind of treads over a lot of the lessons that we've talked about over the course of these podcasts, haven't it? It's like, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Don't invest in shitcoins. Diversify your portfolio and stuff. But
ask Daddy for his money before you take it.
Yeah, or I think it goes even deeper than that, really, Mike. I think, it's like, for God's sake, only invest your own money. Like, don't go investing other people's. That is that, and this is a rule for life. This is something that doesn't just apply to crypto. If someone wants to invest their money, in crypto, whatever crypto it may be, that is their decision, but they have to do it. Like, honestly, I don't think any good ever comes from investing other people's money for them, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends. You're just, you're setting yourself up for a fall. And when that money is their nest egg, and again, there are so many tweets like this, it's like people putting their savings in or their college funds or their nest eggs, but that's bad enough. But when it's someone else's savings, college funds or nest eggs, that is just no.
Yeah, I don't think that one's true. I think if you did something, unless that person is just an absolute horror of a kid, do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be so, if you'd done something so horrific, you wouldn't be so blasé about it. You have to be remorseful.
Interesting. I mean, that kind of assumes that they took the money, that they took it without permission. I mean, they could be well-intentioned, but just a complete idiot.
Do you think this one is from the same person who was "I'm a terrible trader," just really, really bad? Do you think it's the same person? He's just a flow of conscience on Coinfessions.
I feel I should clarify my earlier tweet. Yeah.
Dad,
quite possibly.
I'm a terrible trader. I'm so sorry.
What do you mean, son? What do you mean you're a terrible trader? What does that mean?
Let's go something new, something nice, a good one. You read me a nice one, please.
All right. Okay. Well, this is one from middle of September. Now, this I think is almost certainly true. In 2015, I bought over 500 Bitcoin to buy multiple types of drugs on the dark web. Now that is true for a number of reasons, Mikey. I can see that face you're making. Let's just quickly clear it up before we go any further. Is this you?
No.
Firstly, so many people I've spoken to who were early to crypto, this is a recurring theme. It's like, so what did you do you still have it? It's like, no, guy, I spent it on Silk Road. That's why I got it. Just in case anyone was wondering, as we record this, Bitcoin is kind of hovering around the 20K mark. So that is $10 million at today's prices. But it does make an interesting point as well, and this is something we touched on when we talked about the early days of Bitcoin. I think that it underlines the importance of the dark web, of sites like Silk Road for Bitcoin, because for the adoption of Bitcoin, because I think there's a strong case to be made that Bitcoin probably wouldn't have made it this far if it hadn't been for the dark web, if it hadn't been for people, getting it in order to get their hands on some drugs. Or let's face it, not just drugs, all the other kind of
illicit things,
naughty things, illegal and naughty things that you could buy and probably can still buy on the dark web. So it's a little bit of an uncomfortable part of Bitcoin's history, isn't it? Because obviously since then it has evolved into so much more. Yeah. But there's kind of no getting away from the fact that for a time there wasn't really much use for it other than to buy weed on the darknet.
Yeah. And it's and the fact that people had such vast quantities of it and were just so frivolous with it. Obviously not knowing what lies around the corner, not predicting the future and going, okay, cool, 500 Bitcoin. Like, I can buy a pizza with that, or I can get some man in some unknown location to post me some hash. Or if I sit on it for 10 years, I could buy a small island and grow my own hash.
Have all that. Just call it Hash Island. Yeah. It's one of these things, isn't it? It's kind of it's silly to look back in that way, because obviously if we could predict the future like that, then we'd all be fantastically rich. But I just find it so interesting. It says so much about how far this industry has come, and its origins and things like that. That we have to accept it. It can be a bit uncomfortable for some people that this is kind of how it started, or not how it started, but how it survived during a difficult period.
It was possibly a catalyst for it sort of being more widely adopted amongst people who probably aren't investing in it just for the technology. Yeah. I also want to just raise a point on this. And as someone who basically got into crypto in a similar way, it's also, but who has also been on a journey and understanding a lot more and doing these podcasts with yourself and understanding the community, the history, the stories about it, is also this kind of resonates with a lot of the people who were mining stuff originally, like where you could go to a page and it would just give you some. Is the whole point of it is the mass adoption of it. It is getting it used. It is funding or sort of making it's basically it's the catalyst for that economy of it. Getting it used, getting it adopted, getting it moving is what is important. And if everyone went back and bought Bitcoin and just sat on it, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. Yeah. People wouldn't want it. If everyone went back in time to 2012 or 2013, bought a lot of Bitcoin, sat on it, it probably wouldn't get to the heights that it is today, because no one is using it. It wouldn't be what it is today.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's if people had just sort of bought it to speculate, then it would have just it wouldn't have been worth anything. It had to be proved to be to have some worth, to have some utility in the first place. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's just how it got out into the world. Okay, let's move on. This one from early September. This was an interesting one, I thought. I am a 20-year-old Nigerian, made close to $250,000 this bull run, invested $200,000 in real estate and parents' business, have 40k left over for the next bull run. Feels good.
Yep. I wish I'd taken a leaf out of this dude's book and sort of got out, but and sort of just put back in what I originally had. But you know what? Different people have different sort of outlooks on it. He's smart. He's happy. He's playing it sensibly. Well done.
Yeah. I think absolutely. I think we've all got something to learn there from him. You know, don't be afraid to take profits. Also, don't be afraid to diversify as well. You know, a good investor has a diverse portfolio of assets because you never quite know what's around the corner.
I hope this is the other guy's brother. You know, the one who took all his dad's money and put it into a shitcoin. And this guy made 250k on the bull run, invested 200 into real estates and his parents' business. Sort like there's the two brothers, the two Nigerian brothers. One who's just the absolute black sheep, like crazy one who does all the bad stuff, and then this one who's constantly bailing his brother out of trouble. And at least the parents and the dad is like, well, it's all right.
I like that. I like the idea that the dad is completely oblivious. He doesn't. My sons are both great. You know, my retirement money's still there. They could have so easily taken it and blown it. Yeah. I just wish they'd give me some back every now and again. The actual fact they've both been just taking in and out of his account all the time. Yeah, I also much prefer the idea. I like this guy for kind of investing in his parents' business. You know, so many of the tweets that you see on crypto Twitter, they can be quite self-serving a lot of the time. It's like, oh, you know, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful that I got into crypto because I was able to give, you know, people this or give people that. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, that's well intentioned, but I just admire the chap of this guy. It's like the cut of this guy's jib. You know, it's like, no, I'm going to invest in my parents' business. I want to.
Well, I mean,
it
all obviously depends on what business his parents are in. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if they are gangsters or human traffickers or something like that, then that's probably a bit frowned upon. But if it's a mum and pop shop and it's something like that, that's great. So it's always worth qualifying. Let's find out what their parents' business is, because if it's
context is everything. Yeah, my dad was wandering around with an old sawn-off shotgun. Now I've got him a couple of Tech 9s. He's unstoppable. Let's hope it was a lovely, legitimate. I'm sure
it was. Like, he seems like a
warm and fuzzy.
That's a lovely thing to do. You got to blame the parents, or give reward and praise to the parents when he's obviously been raised well by a mafioso family. No, I'm sure it's good.
Just a shame his brother was such a terrible trader. Okay.
So I put 50k into crypto back in 2017, and now I'm at near zero. I could have bought a house for my mum, and instead I bought coins like Jizinu. It's really the dumbest timeline. Well,
you mentioned Jizcoin earlier, didn't you? It's
I didn't realize it was a real thing. I didn't know Jiz Inu was a thing. I was just being stupid, but not as stupid as this guy. But hey, look. He's lost it. I was going to say easy come, easy go, but like it's not like the other guy who managed to. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, 50k as well back in 2017. Assuming that was while it was before it really went crazy in that year. You know, that could have.
But even if it was, even if it did really go crazy, you know, the highs of Bitcoin in 2017 was what, 19, 20, wasn't it? And then now,
2017. And now it's back where it's gone back there.
Where it was. Wonder what Jazino's doing. We should.
See if we can get that up on the chart. Yeah, it's funny as well because you think, wow, he had 50K back then to put into it. It's yeah, I mean, he's obviously not a very good trader.
No.
So
No.
how did he end up with all this money in the first place? That is something that always baffles me as well. When you hear, especially when you hear of some real idiot who lost all this money, it's like, how did you get all that money in the first place? Like, why are so many really, really rich people so damn stupid? It's weird. But I think it was there's an old saying: if you want to know what God thinks of money, look at the people He gives it to. Anyhow, this one from mid-August. I invested slowly into crypto since 2016, followed the hodl mantra and convinced my wife to buy a little. Oh, I don't like the way this is going. Over time, she got 5 ETH and some small things that turned into large things. I made over 200 ETH in 2021 and frittered it to nothing trading NFTs and microcaps. I have nothing. My wife has 5 ETH. She has never sold/traded at all and has outperformed me significantly. Wow.
Well, what is a microcap, first of all?
It's kind of, it's a slightly more charitable term for a shitcoin. Well, not necessarily, like, an altcoin with a very low market cap. And obviously that is where you can find the really big returns because they've got all this potential upside. But it also makes them way more volatile. And, sometimes the fact that they have a low market cap, that's for a very good reason because they're a shitcoin. But I don't know. It's, microcap altcoins, it can be feast or it can be famine. And it's more often famine, I think. But I do like the fact that his eminently sensible wife has just gone, nope, I am going to stick with that, and yeah, she's come out on top. I think the lesson that we can take from that is, if once you come to the realization that you're a bad trader, just do nothing. Sometimes nothing is the absolute best thing that you can do.
Yeah, it's easier to just sort of let it happen slowly.
Yeah, easier to just sit on your ass. Something
lazy trader.
Something that I think has been a guiding principle throughout much of your life. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Well, when it comes to crypto, for sure, I don't have time. I do have time. I don't have. It's not my life. It's something I dip into, and it's cool, but it's not. I didn't know what a microcap was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is only like the 40th episode of this podcast. But
Listen, you're not the first and you're not the last who's going to try and make me learn.
There's dozens of retired, mentally
better
broken
teachers have tried. They've all failed.
It's too late. So yeah, let's just have a look. We've got time just to have a look at a few more of these tweets and just kind of see what lessons we can extract from them. This one from the 14th of August, 2022. In 2013, I won a $50 bet with a random guy online over some sports match. He sent me instructions on how to claim the money. They were weird and confusing, and I didn't know why he couldn't do something else to pay. Thinking it was either a scam or he was broke, I let it go. It wasn't till it came to mind in 2019 that I realized he was trying to pay with Bitcoin. It's I do remember one of the when I first discovered.
Did you not get that
Bitcoin,
money then?
Yeah, that $50 would never have appeared. Having said that, by 2013, I mean, this is the price of Bitcoin. I think was in. Yeah. It is early, but I mean, $50 would it would equate to a nice return now. It's not quite as bad as someone sort of turning down $10 million. It's nothing close to that.
How much was it in 2013?
as I recall, it was in the kind of hundreds of dollars by that point. So, I mean, we're still talking, an absolutely insane return, but it's not quite, it's not like, oh, if only I'd claimed that $50, I could now be living on my own island made of gold.
Yeah.
But what stands out to me about it is I remember from getting into Bitcoin when I did, which was kind of around kind of late 2013, early 2014, and there was, and I think for a lot of people there still does exist this kind of, it is weird and confusing. You're like, what's this QR code business? Like, hang on, what's this address that I have to send it to? What's going on with this exactly? So back in I have sympathy for this person. I think probably, they I think they could be forgiven for that. It's like, well, hang on a sec. Open a wallet. What's Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin actually had quite a big, it went from, in January, it was $20, 1st of Jan 2013, and then around November, December, it was that classic Christmas pump. It went up to 942. So, if it was sort of January, February, it's a couple of Bitcoin. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But...
not bad, yeah. That's true. But yeah, it's another one of those that kind of dwells on the past, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of like if only we'd known. It's like, well, we didn't. But it does kind of bring to mind the fact that, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I do what I do and why we're doing this podcast, is to try and demystify it a little bit, try and put it in some context so as people can understand it. So as when there isn't that kind of people don't get worried and confused when you talk about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can save people from similar fates. That's what we're here to do, of course. Do you want to read out the next one?
Sure. I work for a major newspaper company, and I've written several anti-crypto articles, 2 of which have gotten major attention and clicks. I actually own a good stack of Bitcoin, 5 figs. Got to get the bag somehow. Well, you are a FUD dealer. And well, look, listen. A lot of journalism these days is kind of all just about getting clicks, as opposed to investigative journalism or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a what was it? There's a Netflix documentary about some investigative journalism. Yeah, about a judge and a lawyer, and basically there was the judges generally. There was some math numbers that didn't sort of stack up. The judges usually give 40%. Sort of like judgments in certain cases, or grant things 40% to, and that was generally the overall sort of figure on it. And an investigative journalist saw that one judge was his figures were at 99%, and
right.
They uncovered that there was a lawyer and a judge who was basically in cahoots, and they were sending people to prison or something like that. It was like $500 million sort of scandal. Yeah, but it's just investigative journalism like that is kind of a lot more rare these days, it seems, and it's all just sort of selling adverts and getting clicks, and it's no real news. Or a lack of.
I do hear a lot of stories from inside the kind of journalism industry, the news industry, if you like, and I think there are a lot of journalists who are kind of quite depressed about it, really, because your success is now measured in clicks. It's not about writing a brilliantly researched and brilliantly put together, brilliantly argued article anymore. It's about who gets the most clicks, and that swiftly becomes a race to the bottom. It's a pretty swift descent from trying to write something really well to just basically clickbait. And I think, crypto in the media, crypto in the kind of mainstream media has been a kind of easy target in this respect, because I think, the word crypto or the word Bitcoin or something in a headline is automatic clickbait for a lot of people. And I think the media has made a lot of money, really, and got a lot of engagement by writing these kind of articles about crypto and generally sort of going to town on it. Some of them are fair criticisms, but a lot of them aren't, and a lot of them just keep kind of peddling the same old line. And it gets pretty tired, but obviously it still drives traffic and clicks and stuff, so it stays in.
Yeah.
I guess anyone reading that tweet should know that if you read something in the mainstream media, it's not necessarily true. And of course, the journalist behind it could just be writing it for clicks and be sitting on a nice bag of
nice
crypto themselves.
Bitcoins, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the next one?
Sure. So this is from 30th of July. I bought the top of a shitcoin and tweeted about it. I got a lot of love from the community and continued to buy the countless dips along the way. But after being down over 80% of my investment, I started questioning the devs and was labelled as a paid FUDder and was bullied to the point of depression by the same people that I thought was my crypto family. I will never be a part of a crypto cult ever again. That is, yeah.
You shouldn't buy into the hype. And it's easy to do that, and it's easy to get caught up in it. And these people who are just on Twitter may not have your best interests at heart. They may just be, aiding the pump.
Yeah, because crypto communities are amazing things because the support they give to projects is incredible and can really help carry that project along and develop it and get the word out about it and stuff. But on the other hand, they can be absolutely terrible as well. And they're never worse when, they're just communities of shills, sometimes paid shills, but sometimes not, sometimes just people who've got money in it and want to pump the price up. And yeah, you get these Twitter accounts and these all over social media, and it just becomes infested with these kind of pump and dump groups and people who won't listen to reason.
It's important, like you always say, do your own research, but it's also really important to try, because you can find whatever answers you want to find on the internet. If I want to go and say Guy Turner is actually a lizard person, I'm sure I can find somewhere on the internet which will reinforce that, possibly true statement. So, do your own research, but do the research that is kind of, it's fair. Look at it. Don't just block out stuff that you don't want to hear. Sometimes you're going to need to hear, okay, cool, this isn't good. I should stop, maybe question the sources and what I'm listening to here and be a bit more cautious and tread a little bit more carefully and you'll avoid getting burnt.
Yeah, confirmation bias they call it. When you're trying to find something and you just filter out the stuff that you want to hear. Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to crypto and stuff, if you're ever invested or if you're ever thinking of investing in something or whatever, and you have questions about it, if you go onto Twitter or any of these other social channels, Discord or Medium or whatever, and you ask some questions, if you put them politely and not aggressively or anything like that, and you ask questions. If the devs come back and give you proper answers, then that is a good sign. But if you get blocked or anything like that, or ignored, that is probably all the red flag you need. Because any crypto project worth its salt, any legit project, will always try and answer questions, address concerns, all this sort of stuff. So, but there are just countless examples of this happening, and yeah, devs going quiet or blocking people or whatever. It's a complete red flag. And ditto communities as well. You know, if a coin or token has a really strong community behind it who just will not listen to any sort of criticism, that too is, yeah, you should be worried.
Also, when you're speaking to someone or you're listening to someone, you do it a lot, which I think is admirable, is when you are talking about a project, you do let people know if you are holding it, you know, just so everyone is aware and completely transparent. I hold a little bit of Jizz Inu or whatever, and and that may be even unconsciously biasing my my opinions on it. You know, it may or may not be that, but let people make their own decision about it and just be cool. Look, I hold 90% of this shitcoin.
Yeah. By the way, I was in at the ICO on this, and any you buy is going to make me extremely wealthy. Yeah, it's there's so much of this kind of stuff in crypto, unfortunately. But yeah, it can be depressing to look at some of these groups and these people who are just, you know, deluding themselves and yeah, kind of really, you know, turn really nasty and stuff. It's yeah, this person's right. I'll never be a part of a crypto cult ever again. If you ever do realize, if you ever sort of think, hang on a sec, am I in a cult? Then you're in a cult and you should leave. If you ever ask yourself the question, just a good rule for life, isn't it? If you find yourself
with hundreds of people dressed in the same white-coloured robe, all with a glass of Kool-Aid, and you ask yourself, am I in a cult? Probably.
The answer is almost certainly yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
okay, I think we've got time. Yeah, we got time for two more. You read this next one out.
I got a tattoo of a project. It rugged.
God.
Now this is something that's I've seen other people. Like I used to do a club night. We used to do a club night called Regression Sessions, and we've had people who come to this is just some random club night that, you know, it was fairly big, and I've had people come up to me and show me their Regression Sessions tattoo, and I'm like, what are you doing? It is a club night. It's not. I mean, but some people have a different. You know, some people get tattoos for jokes. Some people, you know, it's a different meaning to different people. And I hope this guy was forced into the Regression Sessions camp here with a tattoo project that rugged. And it's, hey, look, listen, it's a funny story.
Yeah,
it's kind of like getting a girlfriend's name tattooed on you. You find out she's not the one.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're straying into sort of rules for life territory as well. It's not just rules for crypto, is it? But I think, you know, a good rule for life is like, don't get a crypto thing tattooed. You know, don't get a club night tattoo. Don't get a girlfriend's name tattooed and things like that.
Don't get any sort of facial tattoo, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're hard to get off. And
people will judge you.
Yeah.
Especially me. Yeah, no, I mean, I got a tattoo of a project. It rugged. Yeah, it's just don't go there. Don't get a tattoo. If it's
a cool logo, at least that's fine. Do you know what I mean? If you know, Ethereum's quite a cool, just abstract sort of little shape. Do you know what I mean? Bitcoin, I wouldn't want that, but something a bit more simple and fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, people have got to do what they got to do. It's their bodies, isn't it? That tweet does put me in mind of. I think it wasn't a tattoo, although I think this happens when, you know, football supporters get their favourite players' names tattooed, and then that player promptly leaves for another club.
Yeah. Or but when, I think. You get someone typed got the tattoo of England Euro 2020 winners or something like that, and then we lost in the final, and that's there forever.
It's like you just could have waited 24 hours, and I think, and there's also the one I think at Newcastle, wasn't there? Didn't a Geordie fella call their son Cole only for Andy Cole to leave for Man United 2 days later or something.
No, he named it after the carbon fuel that was.
Right,
that was
okay.
it, yeah.
Which had vanished from the area 10
also-
years previously. Okay, so just time for one more. This from the 5th of July, 2022. I had an amazing family and literally had it made in life. Then I discovered Bitcoin. Oh dear. And became overwhelmed with greed and ultimately lost everything I had trying to obtain more. Wish I had never discovered crypto.
Guy, we're doing this episode to cheer me up.
I know.
We're doing this episode to cheer me up so I can leave this, our chat once a week and I'm going to be happy. And you leave us on this. I've lost everything I love trying to obtain more. I wish I'd never discovered crypto. What are you doing?
I just think, Mikey, that it's a very important lesson to learn because, as I said at the beginning of the episode, like Coinfessions is amazing, but there are some funny ones, there are some very truthful ones, there are also some really damn bleak ones out there, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. And I think this is like probably the most important lesson that we can take from this whole episode, from all these experiences that people have had in crypto, like. Crypto is amazing and it has made a lot of people very wealthy. It has changed a lot of people's lives for the better. But it is not the be-all and end-all. It can be a destructive force if you let it. And I think it's really important for people to remember that the really important things in life are things like, our family, our friends. Crypto is amazing, but it should never come before your family, before your friends, before taking, the things that are really important. But it is possible to have it both. But people do get overtaken by greed. They do get obsessed by the idea of having more and more and more. It's like, for one thing, remember what's really important. And for another, you have to have limits. You have to be, don't let greed consume you because then crypto isn't so cool. It's remember what's really important in life.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Fine, that's a nice way to end it.
Yeah.
I hope this guy
Good.
finds a new family.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he managed to patch things up with his family and kind of get back to the good things that he had. But yeah, it's very true, folks. Don't let the bad things in life take you over. Anyhow, so I think there were some. I think there were some sobering lessons there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great channel, Coinfessions. I'm a big fan of it, and yeah, I think it is actually, I think, a really important part of your crypto journey because it's the sort of thing that you should just check in with every now and again for a dose of reality. When crypto's starting to take over your life, just step back, look at Coinfessions, and don't make the same mistakes that those people did.
Sounds good. I think it's good. Yeah, it is a little a sobering snapshot of other people's experiences. So I think it's I'm going to follow it. I'll give it a little follow.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, shall we leave it there for this week? I think I think we've given. I think we've probably freaked enough people out with some of the goings on in crypto for 1 week. We will be back next week, I hope. I might try. There's a couple of guests I'm hoping to bring on again. I've really enjoyed having guests on the podcast before, so I'm kind of putting feelers out to get a few people on in the future.
Speak to old CZ. See if we can get him on, and I can ask him about what he fritters his money away on, and if he will lend me £1 million.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that till he's on. Obviously.
And then we'll ambush him.
Yeah.
Okay. And see if he's maybe see if any of these Coinfessions people are him.
Or him. Yeah. Go on, show us your tattoos, Easy.
He has actually got a Binance tattoo on his arm. Mind
is this him preempting the Binance is just rugged?
I think that would be, yeah. I probably think if you got a tattoo of something, you wouldn't then rug it yourself. But yeah, who knows? Anyway, Mike, it's been great to see you again. And yeah, I'll check in with you. Again in a week's time.
Sounds good, man.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.